Good morning and welcome to Nigeria Now, showing on your digital first Pan-African News Network, 2S Television. My name is Merciful Ajunimo. On Nigeria Now today, we're having Adebayo Fajimi join us to analyze some stories. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we begin from the Guardian newspaper. The banner headline there is Buhari leaves for Nairobi, London, as fuel scarcity bites harder nationwide. We have a couple of others under that story. The first, Kaduna Ilori motorists sleep at filling stations. Marketers deny blending of adulterated petrol, say product yet to be evacuated. Will not lift PMS for depot owners selling above 148.77 naira, says Nupeng. And MDPRA, NNPC deploy security agencies to check petrol diversion. An ex-depot price now 185 naira per litre. What's your take on this update, considering what is happening currently in Nigeria?
So I will say that the government should step up efforts to ensure that they solve this problem for Nigerians, because of the harrowing experience is very terrible. What we are going through is very bad at this very point in time. So, and just like they have said, they said that they have successfully blended about 45 million liters to augment what we have at the moment. And also we know that some of these people, some of these marketers have this thing, but they are just keeping it. So they should send their people out, task force, and whoever is holding or hiding this, they should be prosecuted, they should be arrested. And even though they can even give it to Nigeria for free, because there is nothing you can do as of today. There is nothing you can do without without moving from one place to the other, and you need this thing to sustain, at least to a large extent. So I think they need to step up the effort to ensure that at least this thing comes to an end.
That is on the Guardian newspaper, and from the very top of that same newspaper we see disquiet in APC over Adamu Namani as governors allay fears on convention rift. That's on page 3. Still on page 3, Nigerian volunteer fighters besiege Ukrainian embassy. Of course, that's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. And President writes Senate seeks review of electoral law. That's on page 4. 12 people burned to death in Kano auto crash. Of course, that story is on page 8 of the Guardian newspaper. National Assembly votes for devolution of power council autonomy. That's on page 2. Northern elders back Igbo presidency. That's coming on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper. Move over to the Vanguard. Of course, the banner headline there is talking about fuels. Scarcity chokes Lagos, Abuja, Enugu, others. From the very top, we see Buhari reject APC governor's plea to dump Adamu as preferred national chairman. What's your take on what's happening in the party as of now, talking about the All Progressives Congress?
Yeah, we have seen a lot of things happening in the party. We have seen different kind of interest, and from the governors and even from the president as the leader of the party at the moment. But what I think, each party or every interest is trying to look for into, or what I think should be their topmost interest is whoever is going to emerge as the chairman of the party should be somebody who has built capacity, who has that credential, who has the track record to unite all the aggrieved members. Because as we speak now, all is not well with the party. And like I have said repeatedly before, that if care is not taken, if APC should dare to go to convention with what is at stake now, they may lose the general election. So whether Adamu or whoever is going to emerge as a chairman of the party must be somebody who has the capacity to bring everybody together, to unite the party, because the party has fallen apart.
Okay, that's in the Vanguard newspaper. Of course, you can get our story on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. Talking about insecurity on page 11, South is now theatre of ungodly, wanton destruction of lives and property. That's coming from Catholic bishops. That story is on page 11. Oni Alafin wade into Tinubu Arigbeshola's rift. Oni and Alafin wade into Tinubu Arigbeshola's rift. That's on page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper. Investment in startups rises 376% to $813 million. That's on page 19. Beside the picture of the day there, we say Finance Minister says federal government under pressure over rising foreign debt. That's on page 7 of the Vanguard. And Badagry Deep Sea Port, Lagos to kick off construction in June if That story continues on page 9, and that's coming from Sanwo-Olu. Talking about the ASU strike, federal government not opposed to higher pay for lecturers. That's coming from Ngige, and that's coming on page 34 of the Vanguard newspaper. And then we see Senate House of Reps reject VAT on exclusive list. Senate House of Reps reject value-added tax on exclusive list. That's on page 8. And Buhari leaves for special assignment. That's talking about UNEP session in Kenya. 2-week medical checks in London. That was on page 7. World closes ranks against Russia's bombs rain on Ukraine. That's on page 21. IOCs to scale down oil production in favor of gas. That's on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. And then the Daily Sun banner headline there is talking about APC chairmanship. Buhari rejects governor's opposition against Adamu, urges Nigerians to get involved in security effort. Of course, we have a couple of other stories beside the picture of the day there. Talking about forgery, Ganduje sacks 4 officials over land scam. That's on page 29. Alleged flogging, 19-month Delta child died of septic shock. Autopsy reveals. We have a couple of other stories right there. Talking about the constitutional amendment, NAS okays VAT, airport, rail, electricity, decentralization, endorses financial autonomy for LGs, legislature, judiciary, CSOs oppose immunity for lawmakers. Wike says, time to start stomach infrastructure. That's on page 28 of the Daily Sun. And on Nigerian Tribune, the banner headline there is Constitution Review, Senate Reps support independent candidacy, devolution of powers. We can get that on page 8 of that newspaper, Nigerian Tribune. And Oyo government sues EFCC. Rider says, for questioning security vote, Consolidated Revenue Fund disbursement agency releases State Accountant General from detention. And of course, that's on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Of course, we see other stories for talking about APC chairmanship tussle, and from the very front page of that story right there. On the Nation newspaper, ASU has received 92 billion naira, says federal government. Parley on strike ongoing. I keep hearing monies that reporters saying the academic staff in universities have received, but still we're still having the strike issues ongoing. Do you think all of this money is enough to keep them quiet?
Well, really, it's not enough, because what ASU brought to the table is beyond this. But even whatever the government said they have done or they have given to them, let ASU confirm it and let them declare to Nigeria and confirm that is true. Because all this we have given them, we are doing this, we are doing this,
and no confirmation.
Yes, no confirmation, and the second party involved, are not giving credible corroboration to what we are saying. So let ASU come out and say, okay, with what you have done so far, we are satisfied with it. Then we can go on with our jobs.
Okay, I totally agree with that. Still on that front page right there, we see Buhari, Oyetola, Tinubu, Kalu eulogize Adeboye at 80. And that's coming on page 7 of the Nation newspaper. President goes on 2 weeks medical vacation, page 2. And VIN customs agents meeting ends in deadlock. That's on page 11. Senators reps no to bill seeking VAT for federal government. Of course, that's on the front page of that newspaper right there. Then we see just under the picture of the day there, Russian troops near Ukraine's capital. Major cities under bombardment. That's on page 43 of that newspaper, The Nation. And then we see commuters stranded, motorists groan as petrol scarcity bites harder. That story continues on page 6 of the newspaper. Buhari turns down governor's plea to drop Adamu. President sticks to end ex-Nasarawa governor, opposes plots to alter zoning. And then we see March 26, convention date unchanged. That is on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. And we see this under the picture of the day there, the last story, that's the bottom of the newspaper. Darwin College expels bully. That story comes on page 3. And work begins on Badagry Seaport, June. That's coming on page 8. Talking about Darwin College expelling bullies is a story that I know many Nigerians have always waited to actually see that justice is being served. Do you think this is enough justice?
Well, this is not enough, but I think that there is need for more to be done, especially on this case, because I remember when it happened. The story gripped every Nigeria, gripped every sector, every area of the country, every place. So I think there is more to be done, and I hope that more will be done. Especially on on something like this.
Okay, totally. I do agree with you. You can also make sure that you stay updated on happenings in Nigeria and across Africa, and that is on www.tostvnetwork.com. Our social media platforms are right there on the screen for you to follow and stay updated. Thank you so much, Mr. Adebayo, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us today. We see you again tomorrow. My name is Merciful Ajinomo. Stay safe. See you tomorrow.